Hello my good students. You join me here in the dead of night to continue our War on the Sea Let's Play series as the US Naval Forces in Operation Watchtower. We have of course been tasked to capture Guadalcanal with its surrounding islands and upgrade the airfield to a level 5 airfield. This will give us an amazing strategic ground to launch our invasions into Japan or towards the homeland as much as we please. But as you will very likely remember from our previous episode, things are once again not going our bloody way, are they? We have spotted the Mighty One has come into action. The most famous and most heavily armed hotel has come to land troops on Guadalcanal, and we must defend it with what few troops and supplies we have remaining after being recently resupplied ourselves and using them to take over Santa Isabel. So with that being said, the goals for this video, if we have the time to get through there, if things go our way, are to reinforce and resupply Guadalcanal. We do have troops there which are of course once again undersupplied. The balance of power is so far in our favour, but bringing up the supplies there and bringing more troops would definitely be far more beneficial, not only for the short run but of course into the future as well. Having troops there is just going to be very useful for our overall campaign goals. So having said that, so that's our first objective, is to reinforce Guadalcanal. Our second objective is to get some fuel and engineering over there after being recently resupplied, and along with that we're going to couple our third objective into actually using our newly earned command points into getting, I think, a Bogue carrier, or carrier escort as I believe the real technical term is there, and that will give us a little more presence in the general area, as well as protecting our transports just that much better. So let's get into the strategic map and see what we can do with our points, shall we? So our planes are returning to base. It is now gone daytime hours, so we cannot launch anymore today. We do of course still have some vision on the Yamato task force here. We did strike the escort carrier and a few supply ships, so they should have unloaded everything they can, but after just playing a couple seconds through to move our planes away, it does appear that they go into the Florida Islands. Now if they do land over there, we shall have to reinvade that from scratch, I believe, because we have less than 1,000 troops there and they have zero supplies, completely zero. They will not fight anywhere near efficiently enough. So if they land anything to match our power there, we're going to lose it, which is absolutely unacceptable. So we do have Task Force 8 over here, quite likely looking to get some troops and supplies from Renault Island, but of course if we take all of the troops from here, which we very likely can with this task force, we will lose that island again, and that's not something I'm prepared to do. So I think we're just going to tell them to come down here so they can retreat from the Yamato. I have told our main task force to retreat for now over here in this direction. We'll watch where this goes once the day passes, but in the meantime we're going to see what we can put onto this task force here supply wise. We're going to go to manage cargo like that. I think I want some more supplies on this particular ship. Want some engineering on here, and we want some fuel on here. We're not going to bring this last Submarine. I think we're going to leave this one here. So we're going to split the group off like that, simply because we don't have anything to stock it up with, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. It doesn't need to go into action if it can't carry anything. And like I said, we're going to get a Bogue up, but first I'm going to check our dockyard. We do still have 1 more day until the Atlantic comes out and 2 days until the Summers comes out. I think we're going to wait around for that to come out and then attach those to the existing task force up here and see what we can work with then. Maybe get a heavy cruiser in there as well. So then we can split this off into 2 task force again, which will give us more mobility. But having said that, let's get this Bogue out, shall we? So let's go to New Sea. It will be on CVL, and here we go, Bogue. Very nicely priced there at 30 points. Lovely stuff, no brainer, absolutely should use it. And that comes with an air force of 16 Wildcats and 8 torpedo bombers, which is manageable. Not the most offensive ship, but it doesn't need to be. We're using it mostly for the Wildcats. So let's move this over here when we can and click on, I think we want, let's cycle through here. Let's move the Submarine down here, I think, just out of the way. And let time tick over there and watch what this Yamato does, I think. Where's it going? It is moving north. It might be retreating up here through to Santa Isabel. Let's double check the progress on that. We should be getting that very soon. So that would be very, very nice. Maybe once we've taken that, we can move some troops and supplies back down to Guadalcanal. We'll see how the situation goes over there. But we are now, of course, in the position to merge the groups over here. Like that. And I think that's actually pretty decent. I might swap the positions over here, actually. Like that, just to concentrate the AA around a little bit more. But without further ado, let's go straight up to Guadalcanal. And that will take 41 hours. Lovely stuff. Yamato should definitely be gone by then. We'll see, of course, once we get into daytime hours, we'll, of course, launch some extensive scouting operations. Not that that's done us any favours in the past. We'd have spotted this a lot better if our scouts actually did their bloody job. So, just as a little note, I am sending the Tambor right outside Rabaul. I do get the feeling they will be passing through a lot of ships here. I assume the AI has to stick to the same rules that we do, in the fact that they have to send all of their ships from their home base. It would make no sense if they didn't. So I'm just going to go over there and try and see if we get some use out of our Tambor. We do have a lot of torpedoes available, and hopefully they all work. So let's just watch where this Yamato goes and see. Is he retreating? Looks like it. Okay, that's nice. So what we're going to do is actually bring this task force back round towards Guadalcanal and keep it patrolling, I think, in this sort of area. I'll get back to you in a minute when something happens. Alrighty then, so we have actually launched some Wildcats to scout out for this Yamato task force, and they have sighted them. I have armed the Wildcats with some light bombs, maybe hoping to, hopefully wishful thinking would be to sink perhaps a destroyer or a cargo ship that survived, but of course I do want to try hitting one of them. And that would be lovely stuff. So let's see exactly what we have over here, shall we? Let's bring them in the front. I think it's probably the best way to go. So the number 2 would be a Myoko. The light bombs wouldn't really do anything too much against that unless we flush hitters on the magazine there. The Myoko being rather lightly armed for a heavy cruiser. I might want to go for this Fubiki over here. Otherwise, what is rather tempting would, of course, be the supply ship. Of course, you can get as many supply ships as you want, so hitting perhaps a destroyer would be better in the long run. Supply ships will come and go as they please. Destroyers will eventually be taken out down to their last numbers and reduced to 0 availability. So I think that's what we're going to go for. Let's tell them to attack from here, actually. Not too bothered about how we approach this, to be honest. Just hopeful that we get some sort of hit in. Doesn't look like we're going to get too much over here. It's not the most useful angle, but we'll see. Let's see how this goes. And of course, nothing great there at all. But the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that we do have some Catalinas on the way as well. These were launched behind our scouts, of course going for the same target as well. They are of course armed with slightly heavier bombs, 2 1.6,000 AP bombs. We will certainly try going for a heavier target. Not likely Yamato, but I think perhaps either Takao or Myoko. And I think perhaps Myoko would certainly be an easier target if we do get hits in, so I think we're going to go for that. So let's target number 2 here with them, and I will of course fast forward because this will take some time to get there. Let's keep contact with the Wildcats and keep circling round, and I will see you in a second. Alrighty then, so we're coming into position now. I did decide rather than to do an altitude level bomb, I do want to try skip bombing the Myoko. If we do get hits on, they will be far more damaging if we do get some decent skip bombs on. And because of how the Japanese are positioned, it is actually minimising their AA fire on us at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant. So ideal. I think the Myoko is pretty much sat dead in the water as it is now. So if we get this lined up properly, we could be pretty decent for this actually. I think we're going to position just a little bit. I think we're going to dodge and weave. Ah, no. I wish the Catalinas were just that much quicker. That'd be really useful. But of course, they are really big, heavy targets here. So we might have to drop from a distance, which is, of course, the beauty of skip bombing, if we are able to do it. And I think we will drop very, very soon. Just get a little better line and just go for it, I think. Take our chances. And increase altitude, please. Yeah, that was timed just well enough for losses-wise. We'd have lost them otherwise. And, hey, I will take that. I will take that one bomb right in the centre. That is rather unfortunate we couldn't get some multiple hits. Looks like we bounced straight over with the other ones. But you know what? A hit, it's fine. I'll take it. Let's take a report, I think, before we leave. There's moderate damage, minor flooding. Not a problem there. This formation really helping us out, though. But let's retreat and see what we can do from there, I think. We are going to try and keep the Wildcats in flight for now, just to keep a line of sight on them. We do have some more air cobras coming out and some mariners coming around as well with more bombs, so hopefully we'll be able to strike them in a minute as well. I will see you then. Okay, so we have found them yet again, ladies and gentlemen. We are, of course, going to go for the Myoko again, I think. Let's increase our speed to go in to attack it. And I think we're going to go for a line ahead formation. We're just going to line this up a little bit better here. Let's go to a line ahead like that and select everyone. Lovely stuff. Open your bomb doors, please. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll be okay. The Yamatos and of course Myoko's AA is worse at the rear of their ships, which is excellent stuff. However, that does put us on the line to the broadside of their other ships there, so hopefully we'll be okay for that. I am going to tell them to attack from here, and hopefully the auto aim will be rather a lot in our favour. Oh, this is so good though. Oh no, lost one already, please. That's the problem with these big float planes. They're not fast enough. They're massive targets as well. But it does look like we're going to be able to drop. There we go. Should be dropping with all of them. Excellent stuff. Myoko going rather slowly. Let's go in and watch this. You just wouldn't believe it, would you? Completely straddled them. Let's get out before we actually lose any more and just tell them to go straight back to base there. That is rather a shame. Ridiculous though. We do have some B-17s on the way, but I'm not sure they'll be able to make it there. They've got a 7.6 left. No, they're not going to be able to make it over there. That is rather wishful thinking, but we will see what happens, I think. We'll send perhaps some more planes over there. Do have some Lightnings and some Mariners out, as well as some more Catalinas. Perhaps we'll reroute them over to hit this, but we'll keep the we might keep them scouting out here as well, just to make sure we know what's out there. So see you once again in a second. Alrighty then, so our Tambor has actually come into contact with just a single supply ship. A single Kamogawa Maru has come out of Rabaul. I was hoping something a little more meatier, a little juicier target, but not a problem, not a problem. We're only going to launch 3 torpedoes at this, hoping they all hit and hoping none of them are duds. Again, wishful thinking perhaps, but I think since we are all ready and our solution is not too bad, I think we're going to fire that. So we're going to go on a 2-degree spread, I think, just like that, and we're going to fire them off. And hopefully that will be okay. Not in any danger, of course, from being detected or even fired at. It is only a single supply ship, so we can retreat and attack as we like with this. So let's watch this and see how it goes, I suppose. Not really a lot to say here. Just making sure that no suppliers get to... I imagine he's going to Lie, perhaps, is where they keep coming from. So let's have a look at this, I think. I'm really starting to have enough of the bloody American torpedoes. I mean, Probably would have hit a bit better if we went for a 1 degree spread, or even a bit more patient with our solution. But for the only hit to be a dud, please be a bit kinder. In other news, it does look like perhaps this might be something different actually. This is just a scouting force we've spotted here. Quite likely just some destroyers, but it does say there might be a light cruiser in there. These are Lightnings armed with HVARs, and they do only have 86 kilometers left. So let's go and have a look at that. Because we might get rather lucky and might be able to hit something. What have we got? Yeah, it is just some scouting groups. Not a problem there. Let's just pause and take a look at this. Looks like a kamikaze or a minikaze over there. This looks like a Fubuki. Which was the leading ship here? Perhaps a Yugamo or some such thing on the front there. So I think I'm going to get both Lightnings to attack this destroyer here, I think. Wait for it to come up on the map, and I think we'll be just about alright there. So let's go for attack here, thank you very much. And go for attack this as well, thank you. And we'll go in and circle in like that, and we should be absolutely fine to hit that. Hopefully it sinks. If not, we can strafe it. If it does not... so yeah, a lot of more cinematic clips in this video, but I'm sure you have no problem with that. Need to calm down after the last episode, I think. And unfortunately I didn't sink it outright. Let's take a very quick report to see what that did do. It's heavy damage, I'll take that. Okay, we will, I think, risk a strafing run on it. It does have quite a decent list going on there. Maybe if we strafe it down, we might be able to get something off of it there. So let's tell them to attack again with both groups. We have formed back up. Hopefully this comes off onto the bow over here. The fire's actually raging in the center ships there. Excellent stuff there. Hopefully that spreads to a magazine perhaps, or causes some sort of extra explosions. I would like to burst the magazine with our strafes here, but not overly likely. Let's have a look. You know what? That was very close there. How's the second one going to come in? Just tell that group to form back up again. Oh, one of them's gone down. Oh, that's not so bad, not so bad. On the center ships again. I will happily take that. I will happily take that. Let's go around and make these lot form up again, just to give them some order. And I think we're going to turn around and strafe them one more time. I think that should do just nicely. The fires are going very well there. Seeing critical damage with heavy flooding. One more strafe should absolutely do this. And there we have it. So I think we're going to tell this lot to return straight back to base. We did lose one more aircraft in that attack, unfortunately. Just waiting around to keep contact and wait for it to sink. Not a problem. It will rearm and resupply over the course the next day, as per usual. That's going all the way back to Buna over here, and that won't be a problem at all. So let's see how this task force gets on going to Guadalcanal, and I think we'll take it from there, I think, unless something interferes in the meantime. Alright, so we've just been notified that our command points from rest and repair have come through, which means we get an Atlanta out again. So let's go straight towards that, I think, and go to CL and Atlanta, which would be excellent if we could get that back out. We might also look at getting another heavy cruiser out. I quite like the idea of getting a Northampton for 22 points, so let's look at that. That's going to be 40, that'll be, okay, excellent stuff, excellent stuff. It'd be 30 command points spare. How many, we do have quite a lot of destroyers over here actually. If we go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're not going to count the Warrington because I do want to bring that back, I think. So that's actually not too bad. Get, I think, should we get 2 heavy cruisers out, actually, I think, from there. Go to New Sea and do that again. Let's go for, I think, perhaps... New Orleans might be decent, actually. I do quite like the New Orleans. Very trustworthy ships. Go for Atlanta again, and that would be 62 out of our 70 command points. So what we're going to do is bring them all the way up, and they can actually bring them to Guadalcanal, I think, because that's where our main task force is headed at the moment. And they can merge and split as we want. I think we're going to get equal task forces of heavy cruiser, light cruiser at least, and then 3 destroyers each as well, and we'll see about how that balances out as well. We might bring the Warrington back. We are going to get resupplied again from the Summers we have in the dockyard. You know what, I think it might be a decent idea to spend the points right now to actually get the a ship out from there. Perhaps we were looking really at perhaps a Gleaves, maybe, or maybe was it a Bagley of some sort. You know what, I think we're just going to go for a Summers like that. We'll get resupply for us and reimburse for us in a second. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's merge like that, and they can come up and go straight over there. Brilliant stuff. As a side note, this is perhaps the sort of target we were looking for with our Tambor. The distance, though, at the moment is 20 kilometers away, and it does look like it's moving away from us. So I want to get closer to that if we can on the strategic map before we go into tactical view and catch that. Hopefully we'll be able to keep in contact with it and catch it up and see what happens there. I will keep you notified if that does go in our favour. And just as I say that, the enemy carrier, quite likely the Ryujo, has come into our line of sight because we are taking Santa Isabel. Tis now technically ours. We have the line of sight on there, so we can see that exactly. I think that's going to be a lovely little target for our float planes as such over here. Exactly how far is that from the New Hebrides, though? 1.25. Okay, that might just be out of range of our flying fortresses, and it does appear to be... doesn't look like there's anything we can get that with, unfortunately. Oh, we might be able to get this on there, actually. 2 1,600-pound bombs. That's not too bad, actually, is it? We could try that. How far do the Havocs go, actually? That's a good question. Not such great range on there. Might have to be HVARs, perhaps, to soften up the destroyers or something if we do that. And you know what, I think that's what we're going to do. How many lightnings could we launch off there? Because we lost a lot of them, didn't we? Yeah, okay. So it might be a case of sacrificing some Wildcats or some Air Cobras from here just to draw some fire away with their zeros and such as a sacrifice. And then bring in the Havocs, perhaps with rockets, to take down a light ship there in the meantime. So we're going to go for that at the moment and see how it goes. We are very close to Guadalcanal with our Task Force 10. That shouldn't take too long. That's going to take another 10 hours. So a lot's going on, a lot of opportunities here, but I think we're going to try and play safe at the moment as much as we want. So I'm not going to go into direct contact with that with our task forces, our surface task forces just yet, I think. But the carrier is absolutely a top priority. There is definitely a carrier here because this is where all of these zeros and planes are coming from. That's their origin. So let's go back and see what happens, I think. Well, those 10 hours have unfortunately passed and we have not sighted those carriers again. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it in time before we lost sight of it with our Havocs and such over here. We did scout out with the Wildcats as well, and of course they do outrun our Tambor here as well, which has had to come all the way down here. Perhaps taking the 20-kilometer engagement there might have had some sort of impact, but if they were running away from us, we'd have had just the same effect. Hindsight 2020, of course, but we never know. So what we're doing now is, of course, reinforcing Guadalcanal. So let's unload all of our cargo there and see what happens now. We are still slightly undersupplied, but our troop count and supply count is much higher there, so that should be in our favour quite a bit. I think we're going to try and get in one more engagement if we can. Santa Isabel, as a note, is looking very good as well. So I think what we're going to do is pull back this task force and just resupply us, I think. See what happens. Bring back this one as well. It's not much use over here. One plan I do have is to make a massive expedition back over to the Cairns and Cookson over here, to pick up some engineering and fuel from there, as well as some supplies perhaps, because they do have quite a big deposit to take advantage of over at Guadalcanal, which I think is going to be very, very crucial to use that, especially with our limited supply now at the New Hebrides. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring these back, and of course this task force back, and I think, yeah, make full use of it. So see you in a second. Hopefully we get one more expedition and engagement. Been playing too much of another game there. I do apologise. Otherwise, we will just regroup with this task force and this task force, and I'll catch you then. Okay then. So we have finally split off our task forces here. I think. Off camera, I'm going to call this the US Task Force and the other Abdicom style task force, which I believe it already is. It's just Invasion Task Force now. So this consists of a single county, a Atlanta, a Crown Colony, and 3 Jervises, whereas the other consists of a Northampton, a New Orleans, a Atlanta, and 2 Summers, I believe, and a Marne. So that would be just good. Or a Summers, a Benham, and a Marne, which I think is very, very nice. This is possibly the more aggressor style force here, because we do have the 2 heavy cruisers here with a bit more firepower to them. So we're going to move them up, I think, perhaps over to Santa Isabel, and try and catch these patrolling destroyers here. Otherwise, the other task force will stay in contact around Guadalcanal to give a closer defense there, perhaps. But in the meantime, we might try and hit this carrier over here. We've spotted it. It's just come in the visual range of Santa Isabel here. We have launched all our possible Avengers. We launched some Wildcats from Guadalcanal here. I've launched 9 from our Bogue as well. But I think that is something for the next episode. It's all we've got time for today, unfortunately. I hope you've enjoyed it today, and I look forward to seeing you for this attack on the Ryujo, so long as you don't lose sight of it, of course, in the next video. So thank you all very much for watching. Hope to hear your feedback in the section below. But in the meantime, I have been the Edified Gamer, and I hope all your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.